What happens when the boss becomes invisible? When the person who signs the paychecks walks among the workers unseen, unheard, but listening. This is a story about pain, truth, and the power of understanding. A story where the worker's voice shakes the very foundation of a company. And the reaction? Well, it's something you'll never forget. Let's dive in. The sun was setting over the small town of Brookridge, casting long shadows over the factory that stood like a giant at the edge of the town. Inside, the machines hummed, and the air smelled of oil and sweat. Workers moved like clockwork, their faces tired but determined. Among them was a man named Derek. Derek was in his late 30s, with calloused hands and a heart heavy with worries. He had been working at the factory for over a decade, but lately, things had been harder than ever. The shifts were longer, the pay was less, and the bosses, well, they never seemed to care. But today, something was different. A new worker had joined the team. His name was Landon, a quiet man in his early 40s with a kind smile and a curious way of listening. He didn't talk much, but when he did, it was always to ask questions. "How long have you been working here, Derek?" Landon asked one day, wiping grease off his hands. Derek sighed. "Too long, my friend. Too long." Landon nodded, his eyes thoughtful. "Do you ever feel like no one up there really knows what it's like down here?" Derek laughed bitterly. "No, they don't care to know. They sit in their fancy offices, making decisions that ruin our lives. They don't see us. They don't hear us." Landon's gaze lingered on Derek for a moment, as if he wanted to say something more. But he just nodded and went back to work. Days turned into weeks, and the factory's problems only grew worse. The workers were pushed to their limits, and the air was thick with frustration. One afternoon, during a rare break, Derek sat with a few of his co-workers, including Landon. "I don't know how much longer I can do this," Derek said, his voice trembling. "My son, he's sick. The medical bills are piling up, and I can't even afford to take a day off to be with him. This job, it's killing me." The room fell silent. Landon's face was unreadable, but his eyes were filled with something Derek couldn't quite place. "What if," Landon began slowly, "what if someone up there actually heard you? What would you say?" Derek looked at him, his eyes burning with emotion. "I'd tell them that we're not machines. We're people. We have families, dreams, and pain. And if they don't start treating us like human beings, this place will fall apart." Landon nodded, his expression serious. Maybe they just need to hear it from someone who's been here. Someone who knows what it's really like." The next day, something extraordinary happened. The workers were called into the main hall, where the CEO of the company was supposed to give an announcement. Derek stood at the back, his arms crossed, expecting the usual empty promises. But when the CEO walked onto the stage, Derek's heart stopped. It was Landon. The room erupted in whispers. Mr. Landon Hayes, the CEO, stood tall, his eyes scanning the crowd. When they landed on Derek, they softened. "I came here undercover," Landon began, his voice steady but filled with emotion, "because I wanted to see what was really happening in this company. And what I found, it broke my heart." He paused, letting his words sink in. "I heard your pain. I saw your struggles. And I realized, I've been blind. I've been so focused on numbers and profits that I forgot about the people who make this company what it is." Derek felt a lump in his throat. He wanted to look away, but he couldn't. "Derek," Landon said, his voice breaking, "you were right. We're not machines. We're people. And it's time we started acting like it." The changes came quickly. Shifts were shortened, wages were increased, and the workers were given the respect they deserved. Derek was even offered a promotion, but he turned it down. "I just want to do my job," he told Landon, "and know that my voice matters." Landon smiled. "It always will." As the days passed, the factory became a different place. The air was lighter, the smiles were genuine, and the workers felt like they were part of something bigger. But the most important change was in Derek. For the first time in years, he felt hope. Sometimes the hardest truths are the ones we need to hear the most. And sometimes the people we think are the farthest from us are the ones who are listening the closest. This story is a reminder that no matter how high we climb, we should never forget where we started. And no matter how invisible we feel, our voices, our pain, our truth can change everything. So, the next time you feel unheard, remember Derek. Remember Landon. And remember that even in the darkest moments, there's always a chance for light. That's the story, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure sharing it with you all. Don't forget to comment below and let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see the global reach of these stories. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories, tips, and tricks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. If you'd like to show some extra love, tap the 3 dots near the share button and send a super thanks.